Welcome back to Hip Hop Pairs, your time machine for hip hop collectibles. In today's episode, we got a special treat for you. We got a Source magazine that came out back in 1995, October of 1995. This is number 73 in the series of magazines. And this magazine, it features members of the WuTang clan on the cover. So we got Method Man here, we got Raekwon, we got the RZA on the cover. And it says here, the WuTang Empire shines. And we're going to go in there and we're going to see what's going on in this magazine. Alright, plus in the magazine it also says that it has Onyx, Das FX, the DOC, and Spike Lee in there. So let's just open this and see what life in hip hop was like for October 1995. Alright guys, we're getting in this time machine. Let's go. We're just gonna go through the pages of this magazine and we're just gonna enjoy each of the page. Just imagine that this is 1995 now, so for my younger audience, this is what it was like back in those days. So we got an Adidas commercial here. Adidas ad. Right here we have, on this side here on the left, we have Das FX. I guess they had a new album coming out. The new album featuring real hip hop. The album was called Hold It Down by Das FX. Alright, next page we got a Boss ad. This is a clothing brand. Okay, here we have Faith Evans. Guess her debut album was coming out that year. Alright. And I remember this album very well. Look, you know. This is the album that had that song I Remember, I believe, I Remember on there. Okay. Got another ad here. Crooked Eye. This is, I believe, probably St. Ives commercial. Back then, a lot of the rappers were doing St. Ives commercial. Alright. We got some WuTang members here. Another Reebok and Proline ad. What you'll notice is that these magazines were filled with ads, you know. And more ads on this side here. What's this? Rude Boy Style, extra quality gear. So this is, I guess this is a clothing brand called Rude Boy. I don't know if they're still around. And this right here, from the, I guess around this time it was the G-Funk era, right? So I guess these guys came out of that particular camp, called Twins, Conversation, the album in stores now. Alright, G-Funk music. Let's go through this. Coogee Rap 456. So what you saying? Rakim says he's all that. Method Man says he's fire. LL Cool J says he's crisp. The Notorious B.I.G. says the originator. G-Rap is back. Coogee Rap 456. So this is what all these other rappers said about Coogee Rap, and he's truly the inventor. He's like, he really started a whole wave, man. His rhyme patterns, you could see it in a lot of MCs, from Nas to Biggie to a bunch of the WuTang members. Just his flow was just all over the place, man. Alright. On this side here we got it says Reflections of a Political Prisoner. This is a feature. This is you know, It's a feature of a political prisoner. We won't get into all that right now. We got a Lugs commercial here. We could see Redman and Keith Murray. Alright. Look at the type of clothes. Everybody was looking like this back in the day. You know, people were wearing lots of lugs and boots and stuff like that. Letters. I guess see if there's anything interesting here. Grand Poobah. I just finished reading your article on Grand Poobah, Masters of Ceremony, August 95. I really enjoy it. I think Poobah is one of the greatest lyricists of the 90s. Who can deny One for All, Slow Down, 360, etc. The article was all good. By the way, his gear is always fly. So this on this side here, you have fans, people writing in to comment on past articles, and you know. Let's see what this one says here. Cube Steak. I'm writing in response to the comments made by Ice Cube and Mac 10 about Common Sense. I guess that's when Common was called Common Sense back in the day. And that was his original name. And the East Coast in general. First of all, I Used to Love Her was one of the most original and creative piece of hip-hop ever. Common deserves his props because everything he said was factual, and he represented b-boys regardless of where you are from. Those West Side artists just showed their ignorance by starting beef that wasn't even called for. Besides, how many more times do we have to hear that the same Atomic Dog, or because back in the day now, the West Coast music had a lot of funk in there. So this is just a reference to that. So this person is complaining how many times they got to hear the Atomic Dog or more bounce samples on the G's getting down for theirs. These brothers better get real and realize that without the East Coast, they could be working at Roscoe's. So you see, comments like this was really brewing that East Coast, West Coast thing back in the day. Remember, at this point, Tupac is still alive, Biggie is still alive, but it's little comments like this that people would read, and it added fuel to the fire, right? And by the way, Ice Cube and Common also had beef, and they have a battle that had songs going at each other. So that was a classic hip hop battle. If you know what I know, right? Dead Presidents, the movie, came out that year, right? As you can see, it says it's coming soon to theaters everywhere, so it didn't really drop yet, but this was like a commercial for it. Now let's go through this. We got Fat Joe here. It says here he has a new album called Jealous One's Envy, right? That's the acronym for Joe. And on the album, it was featured Raekwon, on Respect Mine, KRS-One on Bronx Tale. It was supposed to come out in stores October 3rd, right? This is nothing to be fucked with, right? And it's spelled with a PH instead of an F, right? Alright. Death Row Records, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Dog Pound, Nate Dogg, Rage, Joel, Hug, B Reezy, K Solo, OFTB, YSG, Danny Boy, Lil Bow Wow, That Nigga Daz, Corrupt, Sam Sneed, David Blake. See, these are all the people on Death Row Record. Suge Management and Consultants, Dr. Dre, Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, Devontae, DJ Quick, Second to None, Suge Night, CEO, right? And then it's funny how you have the Death Row here, right? And then you have Freedom Fighters on this side. I don't know what they're trying to tell us right here, but it says here, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, Mary McLeod, Frederick Douglass, Dorothy Height, Marcus Garvey, Huey P. Newton, Dred Scott, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Angela Davis, and C. Dolores Tucker, but they have a line crossed here. So the thing with C. Dolores Tucker was that I think there was something, she came out against Tupac, right? So she was like an enemy to hip hop. So that's why they kind of crossed her name out there. Freedom fighters. When we let freedom ring, we let it ring from every village and from every hamlet. So this is just a snippet from a speech from Martin Luther King, right? But I find it ironic that they would put Death Row Records with the same type of, fonts and everything right across from the freedom fighters. What were they trying to tell us? All right, so let's move on. Let's keep, not this other commercial, other ads, Right here, they're talking about transnational hip hop nation, right? Survey of the mainstream media's coverage of rap music, right? Other countries were doing hip hop too back then. We got AZ, Do or Die, right? In stores October 10. This is his debut album for AZ. Sugar Hill, Rather Unique, and Uncut Raw. Sugar Hill, I believe there was a video for this one. Right? He was on EMI Records at the time. And Dougie Fresh had a new album as well. Alright. Air to the Streets. Lockdown. Washington, D.C. sets curfew for teens. Alright. So at the time, Marion Barry was the mayor of Washington, D.C. He had some issues with drugs at the time. All right. The stars of Mix-a-Lot. DJ Premier is such an adept turntablist that people will pay top dollar for just a scratch off his work. He's currently finishing Group Home's debut album. And that's an album, guys, if you haven't heard the Group Home album, go try to stream that. That was a real classic album right there. Alright. Wildlife Society, 601 Mississippi. These guys, I guess, from Mississippi. A Good Place to Die. It's crazy how hip hop really, But you gotta realize that this is a young person's genre, so there's not gonna be too much thought in, titles or anything like that, It takes nations of millions, right? Minister Louis Farrakhan to lead the Million Man March. So this was the first Million Man March that they had, and it was definitely a historical event. And here, I guess, Dr. Ben Chavez speaks on the Million Man March on Washington, 1995 style. All right. What's this? We got another ad here for a clothing line called Match One. Many clothing lines came and went. We got Capone and Noriega in 1995. You can see these cats is just straight off the block, man. Look at these. These look like mug shots. But it says here they're written up in unsigned hype, so they weren't even signed yet at the time. Let me just read a little piece of it. It says, by now everyone should be familiar with the resurgence Queens has made in the hip-hop arena. In particular, Queensbridge has played a major role. Mobb Deep, Nas. And with artists like Capone and Noriega waiting in the wings, it doesn't appear that the borough's most notorious area will be falling off anytime soon. Yep. So, it's a very young Noriega and Capone. Noriega would go on to, bigger, better things, having #1 hits in '98. So 3 years later, he was like a big star all over the radio. And then after that, he moved on to having the Drink Champs. But you can see this is in the hungry time when people wanted to get on. You know, you can see the determination in these guys' face, man. They wanted to make it. And it appears that they kind of probably used mugshots on this one. Alright, let me move to the next. This is a hip-hop quotable. I won't even quote it because I don't know who this rapper is. Omniscience. But the funky one-liner from the single Amazing. But he made it to the quotable, so that was a pretty good success. Not everybody makes it there. You know, but I just don't remember him. I know you guys watching might know who he is. Alright. The single DPG Killer and 50/50 Love. The album Real Brothers in Store. I can't even make this out because the way they put this together, you could barely read what this is, you know. But they were on Def Jam though. Alright, so we got some, I guess over on this side, they're looking back at Wild Style, you know, some graffiti back in the day. So at this time, when we're looking at this, if say you're in 1995 now, and you're looking at this page right here, you would be looking at things that happened back in the day, right? So they're showing you stuff from like 1974, how people used to, you know, tag the trains. And that we used to call it bomb the trains with graffiti, you know. And here we go on this side here. We got, it says here, congratulations, you're our producer of the year. And we got the RZA. He got the producer of the year award. WuTang Platinum, Meth Platinum, Dirty is Gold, Raekwon Shipping Gold, and The Genius coming soon. So The Genius didn't even have his album yet. And you know his album, you know, Liquid Swords, classic. Alright. Cinema the Hard Way. This just pays homage to, you know, black people in film. Here we have Spike Lee's movie Clockers. Alright, it was a good movie. MCA Records. This actually is the soundtrack for Clockers. You had Desiree on there, Seal, Shaka Khan, Chub Rock, Buckshot, Mega Banton, Mark Dorsey, Rebels of Authority, Strictly Difficult Brooklyn, and Brooklynites. I wonder if this web link still works. Right, over here is Flavor of the Month. These are showing off some technology that was out, hot technology at the time. You see they have a joystick for a video game here. Like Virtual Boy. I don't know what this is, but it says here, wouldn't you just love to be able to step into another world when you want to? Well, Nintendo makes it possible. Virtual Boy, for $179, is a virtual reality experience. Just press your face to the oversized goggles and enjoy a 3D image. A first-person boxer punches it out with futuristic opponents. So this is like early years of playing with, you know, virtual reality. I guarantee you it would look cheesy, it would look corny right now compared to what we have now. But this is what it was like in 1995. Look at the stereo equipment that they had back then. You had 2 cassette decks. You had a CD changer. Yes, that was standard, you know. This is cool stuff. This is a game of the month. The game of the month back then was Triple Play. A baseball game. Alright, let's see. Right here, it features Junior Mafia, Biggie's group he put together. So we can see here we have Lil' Kim. I recognize Lil' Kim here, and I recognize Lil' C's. Alright. And the source, interviewed them. Junior Mafia. Okay, we got Tales from the Ward, South Circle. So I guess these guys, hip-hop began in the Bronx. New York tends to get territorial with ours. But since the days of Cold Crush Brothers with Grandmaster Flash, rap has spread way beyond the 5 boroughs. So, this is just, they're talking about, how rap is branching out, In this time, New York really dominated, big time. And California was just coming up, really like, we were kind of, New York was getting a bit nervous because Dr. Dre was applying that pressure on New York rappers, His music, when Dre produced a song, it was really well done. It was like, very clean. So we had to step up, New York had to step up the production game. So you may be wondering why Biggie had those R&B behind it. It's because Dre, he just really influenced a lot of the way that New York did music, which was much different than Premier, and the other producers at the time. Those producers like DJ Premier or RZA, their music sound more gritty, more New York, Alright, other commercials here. Knight Rider. They're showing off these guys who are riding a bikes. Motorbike crew. This guy's burning out right there. Here we have DOS Effects, special effects. Several years ago, DOS Effects revolutionized MCing with a completely new style. Today, it's not as easy to bliggity blow minds away with the style the world has already tasted. So you can see DOS Effects at this point in the game, they had some pressure on them now because they couldn't come out with the same bliggity style that they had before. Because people already got used to that, and they had so many copycats at the time copying these guys' style. All right. So this article is just touching on that point, and I guess they're talking about what they got to do next. Here we have Buckshot. This is another ad for Davauchi clothing line. We got Run DMC. They got the 1995 Source Hip Hop Pioneer Awards. Now you gotta understand. See, what you gotta understand is that these guys, they came out like in 1983, right? And this is 1995, and already they were like major old school. We were looking at them like godfathers at the time. But they really, these Run DMC is the first rappers who went commercial and wore regular street clothes, not like entertainment costumes. They wore street clothes. Like they could get off the stage and walk. They could get right off the block and go right up on the stage, right? That's one way how they changed hip hop. All right, over here we got the Souce Awards, Hip Hop Music Awards, 2nd Annual Souce Awards, right? As we promised last year after the first show, this year's event was a big improvement. The Souce Hip Hop Music Awards 2nd Annual show was not only more organized than the first, but the hip hop Nation turned out with mad support. Host Ed Lover and Dr. Dre entertained the crowd and didn't pull a David Letterman at the Academy Awards performance. While the live audience had to endure a number of dry spells in between acts, comedian talents kept everyone on the edge of their seats. Besides the many celebrities actually taking part in the award gala, including presenters, nominees, and performers, a whole slew of stars and Fat Pocket VIP floated through the Paramount at Madison Square Gardens. Basketball celebrities towered over the crowd, including Anthony Hardaway, right? That's Anthony Hardaway, Dennis Scott, Chris Webber, Sam Cassell, and Charles Oakley. Hip-hop artists were also scattered everywhere, mingling amongst the well-dressed masses, right? But what you just read was a load of BS. You know why? Because the highlight for this particular Souce Awards was when Suge Night came out there and said, if you don't want your producer all up in the video, dancing and everything like that, come to death row. This Souce Awards was the beginning of the pinnacle of the East Coast West Coast beef, but they're trying to skirt around it. They're not mentioning it, right? Right in this picture right here, you can see when Snoop Dogg made that comment saying, "You don't like New York don't have no love for Snoop Dogg for West Coast," right? So this was a pivotal, a very important award. As a matter of fact, people lost their lives because of this award. If this particular award didn't happen, and if if Suge Knight didn't say what he said and everything, Biggie then probably still would have been alive, man. But if you notice, look at the pictures of who they're showing, and what I noticed is that, as you can see, you see Biggie right here, Faith, Mobb Deep, Run DMC, Salt and Pepper with Play. You had what's this, Redman, but nobody showed any pictures of Suge Knight. You see that? Because this was the Souce Awards, so they were kind of like censoring what really happened. But time let us know that this was the award show that changed it all. So guys, you're getting a glimpse of history in this time machine. Come on, I need you to subscribe to my channel. I'm showing you guys some stuff that you would never normally see if you didn't have the collection in this magazine. All right? So it says here, back then in 1995 awards for Souce Awards, the Artist of the Year went to WuTang Clan, right? Artist of the Year group went to WuTang Clan. The Artist of the Year solo went to Snoop Dogg, right? New Artist of the Year group went to Outkast. New Artist of the Year solo went to the Notorious B.I.G. Album of the Year was Ready to Die by Notorious B.I.G. Single of the Year was Flavor in Your Ear by Craig Mack. Lyricist of the Year was Notorious B.I.G. Motion Picture Soundtrack of the Year was Above the Rim. This was executive produced by Suge Knight. Best Acting Performance in a Television or Movie Role went to Ice Cube in Higher Learning. R&B Artist of the Year, Mary J. Blige. Producer of the Year, Dr. Dre. Reggae / or Hip Hop Artist of the Year went to Mad Lion. And Live Performer of the Year went to Notorious B.I.G. Video of the Year went to Natural Born Killers, Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. Directed by Dr. Dre and Gary Gray. Alright, so this is history, guys. This award show this award show kicked off that East Coast West Coast beef. Alright, let's move on. Alright, Nike ad here. Alright, so we got the DOC from California. He had a promising career, but unfortunately he got into a car accident, and because of it he hurt his throat and was unable to continue his career as far as being a rapper. Right? There you go, more features. He says here, doing it better in ATL, DOC with his new Southern Fried Click. So I guess he moved from California in this article and moved down to Atlanta, right? Okay, South Pole ads here. This is a continuation of the DOC. The new formula. Right. Spike Lee, Crooklyn Dodgers. Right. A decade ago, a young filmmaker named Spike Lee started making films based on Brooklyn life. Then all hell broke loose. Today, wealthier, worldlier, and wiser, Spike's still trying to do the right thing. I guess this article was written by Todd Williams. And there is Spike Lee chilling on the Brooklyn Bridge. You can see the old AT&T building, the AT&T building for all you New York heads. And here's, I guess they're filming a scene in the movie Clockers. You can see Mekhi Phifer, right here, and John Turturro. And Spike Lee is directing them in this. This is Buju Banton's big debut album called Till Shiloh. This right here. It was a good year. This is Onyx. At this point, these guys are at least 3 years in the game, right? I think they came out, the first album came out in 92, 93, I think 92, with Throw Your Guns in the Air, right? Sonny Caesar, Fredro Starr, Sticky Fingers. I wish I had time to read all this to you guys, but you know, just have to keep moving forward. All right. Prisoners of War, America's Black Political Prisoners, Mumia Abu-Jamal. You got Public Enemy here. It says prison is just another name for slavery. Let me read this part here. It says the term POW has long been associated with faraway places and recent U.S. military conflicts like Vietnam. How many of us ever considered the possibility of prisoner of war at home? Many activists involved in movements for black empowerment have spent much of their lives behind bars at federal penitentiaries. They insist the nature of their imprisonment is political. According to these POWs, America has yet to resolve its longest ongoing war, the race war against Africans in America. So, and this was written here by Larbester Gaither. All right. When Activism is Your Crime, Mutulu Shakur, New African Political Prisoner. So this really just breaks down that, give you a good knowledge of, political prisoners, how they're doing and what's going on with them and why they were accused and how they feel about it. All right. Okay, let's keep moving, guys. Best of the old school flavor in stores now. Right? I recognize you have Biz Markie right here. You got Marley Marl, Cool G Rap, Cold Chillin'. This is a Cold Chillin' ad, by the way. Cold Chillin' record. The Juice Crew was on Cold Chillin'. Now here we are for the featured article. We got the WuTang, Wu Gambinos, Right? This is the infamous WuTang symbol right there, and you can see all the members of the Wu. Now at this time, sorry, but at this time you could see that Old Dirty Bastard was still alive. All the Wu members are here and present, right? Except Capadonna, he's not on this, but you have John Blaze, Maximilian, Rolling Fingers, Old Dirty Bastard, Lucky Hands, Bobby Steels, Lou Diamonds, and Tony Starks. These are their the other names that they go by, right? It says here, from the most obscure part of New York City, hip-hop samurai elite, the Wu-Tang Clan, have taken by force the keys to the opulent empire of rap music. Alright, here's another pictures of the whole group. The Chef, Ghostface Killer, Inspector Deck, Old Dirty Bastard, the RZA, Jizza, You God, and Method Man. And I always say, if the Jizza is not in your top 5, I don't know what type of hip hop you listening to, man. Cause this guy, his lyrics, if the RZA, if the Chef, and Ghostface is not in your top 5, I don't know. I don't know, man. We got the Chef right here. I wish I had time to just go through, read the entire article for you guys, but I know it would just go way over the time for YouTube. Alright, let's feature, what's this, Riddick Bowe. This is a little article on Riddick Bowe. Source Sports, they had a section for sports, so I guess this time they're featuring Riddick Bowe. So this is him, his children, and this is Evander Holyfield. Man, time really went by pretty fast. You know, the rap on sports compiled by the Source of Sports Squad. I mean, when you buy the Source magazine, we didn't buy Source magazines to be reading nothing about sports. You know what I mean? We just wanted to know about our rappers, what's going on. Remember, at this time, we have no internet, we have no social media, so this was it for us. You can see Mike Tyson here with Don King. Alright, let's keep it moving. Alright. Coolio, rest in peace. Conversation between Coolio and Indianapolis Colts running back. So this is kind of continuing on that sports theme. So let's move away from that. Alright, let's go over to the part where a lot of people used to just go to as soon as they open up the magazine. Like if you're say for instance you was in a store and you were just you grabbed the Source magazine and you just wanted to read it, right? Most people would go straight to the mics, you know, to see what their favorite artist and new album, how many mics they got. Now Source would give you 5 mics if it was a perfect album. So you could see here, KRS-One had an album at the time, Hip Hop versus Rap, and he picked up 4 mics, right? Not bad, right? Not bad for a veteran who's already in the game 9 years by this time, right? Because remember, this is 1995. KRS-One came in the game in 1986. So he was already in the game 9 years, and he still was able to get a 4 mic album. So it tells you the strength of KRS-One. Kool G Rap album 456 picked up a 4 mic in the Source. Guys, for you guys who wasn't around at that time, trust me, this was very valuable. Like, getting these mics was like getting a Grammy. If you had 5 mics in the Source, you were certified forever. People will remember that you had a 5 mic. Illmatic got 5 mics, people. Alright, let's 8 Ball and MJG on Top of the World. Alright. Keep moving. And you got Dougie Fresh album picked up at 3 mics at the time. WC and Mad Circle, they got 3.5 mics. Trust me, you don't want no 2 mics. 2 mics mean your career is over. Wildlife Society, never heard of these guys. They picked up 2.5 mics in the Source. That's why. BG, Knockout, and Drista, they got 2.5 mics in the Source. Their career was done. The Menace Clan, never heard of these guys. They picked up 3 mics. That was it. So the mics, Source gave you 2 mics or 1 mic, your career is over. You know, Mac Vo, never heard of him. He picked up 2.5 mics. It was done. It was a wrap for his career. So you wanted at least to have a 4 mic. You know, you wanted 4 mics. Right here, I don't know, they were trying to, this is some type of hustle where you call in this phone number and you're able to listen to your favorite rapper's song, right? So you just call in, get a chance to win tickets to Urban Aid, right? But in this it says, here the next butters, right? Call on your phone and then you can listen to it. But they want to charge you 26 cents for each track that you listen to. What a scam. What a scam. No true hip hop had ever called it. Okay. Alternative soundtracks. Various artists, Clockers, various artists. Ashanti, Roy Ayers. We got Patra right here. Yep. You knew she was coming. Coming where? Scent of Attraction, the new album by Patra. The Queen is Back. So I guess that was like a second album she came out with. Alright. And these are singles, right? We got Jay-Z here. Had a single here. What's the Meaning? In My Lifetime remix. Right? Remember, this is 1995. Jay-Z's debut album hasn't even dropped yet. And Jay-Z is featured here in Sure Shot singles. And out of everybody here, I mean, Sons of Man, they also kept up. Jay-Z, we still remember them. And I know some of you guys probably remember some of these other people. Omniscience is actually the guy who they gave the quotable to. So he's probably really nice at, you know, at rhyming. Coming to the end, guys. Club Nouveau. It's a really good group back in the day. We got some pictures. We can see Candy Burris here. We can see T.I.'s wife Tiny. We see Yo-Yo. We see Mike Bivins here. We see Raekwon the Chef. We see we got Dougie Fresh right there. Special Ed, Sadat X, Brandy, Tevin Campbell, the DOC, 5-5 Freddy, rapper Unique, and DJ Big Cap. This is a young Angie Martinez up at Hot 97. Yep. And I always used to like looking at the cartoons they do in the back here. So right here it features WuTang. WuTang delivers 3 shots to the dome piece. Swarming at ya. Return of the Old Dirty Bastard, Swordsman. Alright. And it tells you what's coming up next. You know, in the next feature, they're going to feature KRS-One, Farside, Eric Sherman. Alright. Then you got a nice little, at the last page, you got Junior Mafia. Alright. Biggie's group. I don't think these pictures age too well. You know, they should just kept them in street clothes. Alright, what's it says here? Lord Finesse, hip hop to the game. Hey guys, I want to thank you for sticking with me through this review of this magazine. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I got a really good treat for you guys coming up next. So just stick with me, okay? And peace.